I just felt at home just because I'm on the path of riding my destiny. And when you're really close to God and on the path of your destiny, you just feel everything so much more, and you just know what's going to happen ahead of time.
Mike Tyson just absolutely humiliated Jake Paul after the post-fight conference. And let's be real, it wasn't even close. In all his infinite wisdom and boxing expertise, Jake Paul decided to run his mouth and claim that Mike Tyson needed the money. Oh, sure, because the guy who built a multi-million-dollar cannabis empire is totally desperate for a paycheck from a YouTube prankster. Brilliant deduction, Jake.
I'd just be real bummed out to see Mike get KO'd
Right,
at 58 years
at
old.
60, basically.
Like, what other sport would we let a 58-year-old man compete other than golf?
Right.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we letting this happen?
It's kind of crazy.
And let's not forget the real question here. What on earth made a 58-year-old man whose body has more miles on it than a used car think, yep, let's step into the ring with a dude who thinks a right hook is a viral TikTok trend? Seriously, this whole thing is like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but somehow everyone still can't look away. Where do we even begin with the masterpiece that was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Yeah, that's totally normal, right? The worst part? It actually worked. We watched it, we talked about it, we tweeted about it, and we even paid for it. Welcome to the circus, folks.
Mike Tyson is getting back in the ring. He's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber turned boxer, 27-year-old Jake Paul.
Now Tyson, despite dealing with serious health issues earlier in the year, decided to say yes for a fight. Maybe he thought it'd be an easy payday, knocking out a kid who's famous for doing dumb stuff on YouTube.
We want to, but our opponents don't actually really want to. So it's funny.
Jake Paul, who somehow convinced a massive online audience that he was a legitimate boxer, got into the ring looking like he was auditioning for a role in the real Fight Club. And here's where it gets really good. As the fight neared, fans started to ask the question no one had the guts to voice out loud. Is this going to be an actual boxing match, or is it a glorified pay-per-view comedy special with a few extra bruises thrown in for good measure? There was no way this was a genuine contest.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Then, just when you thought the absurdity couldn't get any better, here comes the infamous fight script. This was a detailed, round-by-round breakdown of how the whole spectacle was supposed to unfold.
Opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style.
Tyson, the ever-predictable pro, starts strong with his classic bob and weave. Jake, of course, plays the underdog who somehow keeps on going, looking like the hero of a sports movie. And then, just when you think it can't get any more predictable, round 5 comes, and Tyson gets knocked down by a perfectly timed right hook. That's exactly what the script predicted. Who would have thought?
Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form.
And shockingly, the fight played out exactly like the leaked script. Tyson, looking slower than a dial-up connection, got cut above the eye. Jake's punches? By the end of it, fans weren't sure if they'd just watched a fight or paid for a high-budget WWE episode with better lighting and a slightly more believable backstory. Seriously, it felt like they'd accidentally left a bunch of pro wrestling writers in charge of a real fight. And somehow that turned out to be the most real thing about it. And what did Tyson do? Nothing. At first. No fiery rebuttals, no public meltdowns. He stayed suspiciously quiet, almost like he was waiting for the dust to settle, or figuring out who let the cat out of the bag.
The number on it, are we talking 60, 70 million?
I mean, if I were to cash out, yeah, I probably made like an extra 60 on top of that just from my investments last year, if I were to liquidate it.
Jake Paul's post-fight antics weren't just over the top. They were a masterclass in how to self-destruct while holding a megaphone. After his controversial victory over Mike Tyson on November 15, 2024, Paul hopped on his podcast, casually tossing out bombshells like they were sponsored ads.
You know, I tried to give the fight the best fight I possibly could, but when someone's just surviving in the ring, basically, it's hard to make it exciting.
His most outrageous claim? That he eased off during the fight because he didn't want to hurt Tyson. Right. A YouTuber turned boxer who spent his entire career chasing knockouts suddenly decided to play nice. What's next? Claiming he let Tyson punch him to keep things interesting?
It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think
40.
that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money.
Paul didn't stop there. He took things further by implying that Tyson needed the fight for money. That's rich, coming from a guy who built his fortune on viral pranks and boxing gimmicks. The backlash was immediate and vicious.
When you're already Mike Tyson, who's a multi-millionaire, who doesn't need any money right now whatsoever.
Social media exploded, with boxing legends and fans alike calling out Paul's blatant disrespect. They weren't just mad at his words. They were furious at how effortlessly he tried to rewrite reality. His reckless mouth didn't just spark outrage, it reignited conspiracy theories that the fight was scripted. His comments fueled speculation that the match was less about competition and more about creating a blockbuster storyline. Paul's non-stop bragging made it hard for anyone to take the fight seriously.
And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy.
If Jake Paul thought he could keep running his mouth without consequences, he was dead wrong. After weeks of staying silent, Mike Tyson finally snapped, and his response hit harder than any punch thrown in the ring.
Exactly. I started, to matter of fact, thank you. I started Jake Paul off.
But Tyson wasn't done. After hearing weeks of rigging accusations and watching that ridiculous fight script spread like wildfire, he finally snapped, verbally at least. In an interview with Fox Sports Radio, Tyson dismissed the rigging rumors with the kind of intensity that could still make opponents flinch. "It was a real fight," he practically growled, daring anyone to question whether getting punched 78 times was part of some elaborate scheme.
I don't look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm gonna be dead soon one day.
And Tyson wasn't just mad about the punches. He was furious about what the rumors did to his legacy. For a man who's built a career on being one of the most feared fighters in history, being reduced to a character in a made-for-TV boxing drama was beyond insulting. His legacy now came with an asterisk thanks to Jake Paul's endless need for attention and an alleged fight script that read like a rejected Rocky sequel.
This fight is not gonna change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good. I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy. Come on.
In a fiery interview with Fox Sports Radio, Tyson torched the rigging rumors that had been haunting the fight since day one. It was a real fight, and Tyson wasn't just defending the fight's authenticity. He went straight for Paul's jugular. "I don't need anybody's money." The sheer audacity of Paul's financial rescue claim clearly hit a nerve. For a man who's spent decades rebuilding his life and career, being reduced to a charity case was beyond insulting.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be over.
But Tyson didn't stop at finances. He went existential. "I'm going to be dead soon. Who cares about legacy?" he stated bluntly, shocking even seasoned interviewers. It was classic Tyson, raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. Yet, beneath the tough guy veneer, there was a real sense of hurt.
It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be over. Who cares about legacy after that?
His legacy, something he had fought to reclaim after years of personal and professional turmoil, was now under attack from a social media star whose biggest claim to fame was viral clout. Jake Paul might have survived 8 rounds with Mike Tyson, but can he dodge Tyson's legal team? Because right now the gloves are off, and the real fight might be happening in a courtroom.
For this fight, you are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend, Mike Tyson, in the ring for the first time.
The fight was supposed to be about legacy, or at least that's how Tyson framed it. He shared that a major reason he took the bout was for his children, hoping they'd see their father as the warrior he once was. But post-fight, the victory felt hollow. Critics didn't hold back either. Boxing analysts questioned whether Tyson should have been allowed in the ring at all, given his age, past health issues, and admitted memory lapses. Multiple blood transfusions earlier in the year only added to concerns. Was this really about proving himself? Or was Tyson risking it all in a fight he couldn't afford to lose?
I couldn't really get him to engage me or slip shots and, do something super cool or whatever. But I don't care about what people have to say. They're always going to have something to say, and that it is what it is.
Here's the thing. When Jake Paul started running his mouth about easing off during the fight and throwing out rigging accusations, he probably didn't think about the fine print of a possible NDA. If such a contract exists, Jake might have just jabbed himself into a world of legal trouble. Rumors are swirling that Tyson's legal team isn't taking this lightly. Insiders are exploring whether Paul's reckless comments about the fight being scripted crossed a legal line. This isn't just about bruised egos. It's about protecting a brand that Tyson spent decades rebuilding from the ashes of scandal and financial ruin. Paul's flippant remarks could be seen as defamation, a serious claim when millions watched the fight live. And the stakes are sky high. A major lawsuit could be a career-ending uppercut for Jake Paul. Boxing is a brutal business, but courtrooms? Those hits last longer, with interest. If Tyson's team files a case, Paul could face massive fines, a damaged reputation, and potential bans from future fights. Forget rematches. Jake might be battling Tyson's lawyers in depositions instead of rings.
The fight went to 8 rounds. Mike wasn't trying. The fight wasn't, good enough. It was an unbelievable display between a 58-year-old legend and a 27-year-old relatively young boxer.
The Tyson-Paul showdown wasn't just about age versus youth. It was about legacy versus virality. Tyson's name is etched into boxing history. Paul's is engraved on a TikTok plaque. But here's the kicker. Thanks to fights like this, the line between boxing and entertainment is disappearing faster than Jake Paul's credibility after his latest podcast rant. So after all the punches, the trash talk, and the eyebrow-raising claims, where does this leave Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? And yet the biggest unanswered question still hangs in the air. Was the fight real, rigged, or some strange blend of both? Was it a genuine battle or a cleverly scripted blockbuster designed to rake in millions and keep fans guessing?